Good morning, ho, ho, ho. I am Brian Carpenter, sports editor of the Meriden Record Journal, alongside my man Pete Paguagua. We are coming to you on Saturday, December 23rd, 2 days to go before Christmas, Pete.
Yeah.
You're going to be on Long Island? I'm going to be on Long Island.
It's a good place.
Is it going to be a white Christmas, though?
That's what they're saying.
Really?
They're saying we might get a little snow on Christmas, so we'll see.
I better leave my bike at home.
Yes, probably.
All right. Hey, Pete and I are bringing you this show. We're taping on Thursday night before we head home for the holidays. We hope you folks have a Merry Christmas. It's been a busy week for you, Pete, so I'm glad you're going to get a little time off, my man.
Oh, it was great, though. It was nice. You know, once the shake off the rust a little, kind of dove right into it. So.
What impresses me the most is you got to all these games this week with boys basketball, hockey, girls basketball, and wrestling, even some swimming.
Yep.
And you still found time to buy us some nice Christmas sweaters. Thanks, man.
I feel, really ties in this episode, I think.
Yes, it does. Absolutely. I'll wear this with pride. Hey, let's get you out to the highlights. Like I said, it was a busy week for Pete. He was here, there, everywhere because he is here, there, everywhere, Pete Paguagua. We're going to start on Monday night over at Platt High School. Boys basketball, Lyman Hall playing its season opener against the Platt Panthers. Heck of a game, and the man running the show, as you're going to see here, Kevin Ransom.
Unbelievable game.
Taking no prisoners.
Absolutely. He was all over the place, you know. Rebounds, steals, on top of the 13 points and 9 assists that he put up.
Directing the flow. That's Kevin. He is a very quick player, heads-up player. I know you got that cool no-look pass.
Yeah, he almost faked me out, too. So I wasn't, the Platt defense wasn't alone.
Almost. Yeah, as Peter said, Ransom had 13 points, 9 assists. Kevin was an all-record journal player last year as a junior, and he's got some nice players around him, too. 4 guys were in double figures that night, led by our guy, Shakespeare Rodriguez, my kingdom from a horse. Shakespeare lighting up in basketball, too.
Yeah, he had 15, finished in transition a lot.
They're off to a 2-0 start because on Wednesday night they smoked Brantford pretty good, 61-37. And, again, a lot of balanced scoring there. Shakespeare, I believe, also led the Trojans that night. Another good game for Kevin Ransom. Trojans off to a 2-0 start.
Not bad.
Meanwhile, Platt is still looking for its first win as we are taping this show. They've started the season 0-3 because 2 days after playing Lyman Hall, they went over to Cheshire, and they lost there 55-47. The Panthers looking to gain some traction here, not finding it in the early going. They ran into Big Ben D. LaBelle for the Rams on Tuesday night, correct?
Yeah, Ben, on top of being a really good third baseman for the Cheshire baseball team, he could shoot, and he really took over late, 9 points in the fourth quarter. Game was tied at half, 24 up, and the Rams got going late in the second half on their outside shooting, and it clicked in the fourth quarter with Ben, and they were able to pull away from Platt. It's upsetting to see one of our local teams like Platt start out 0-3, but they battled back in the Lyman Hall game after a slow start. They were with Cheshire for almost half the game, so they're gonna get there soon.
Yeah, I see Desmond Davis did some good scoring in both games that you got to this week. He had 15 against Lyman Hall. He had 16, along with Trey Carter had 16 as well against Cheshire. I think it's basically a case of the Panthers looking to put 32 minutes together.
Yeah. And they will soon. It'll happen. They got the pieces.
Good. Like to see Platt get rolling with the coming of the new year, Pete, which will be upon us before we know it. All right, here's somebody who's already putting together 32 minutes, and this is not a surprise. Wilcox Tech, they are very good. They returned everybody from last year, led by DJ Ransom. They're just loaded. Johnny Soto and Will Pollack and Nick Millslagle. They went out to the tip-off tournament in Middletown. You went out there.
Yeah, I think I got there at the right time. I showed up right in the third quarter. It was still, I wouldn't say close, but it was relatively close. I get there, they go on a 9-0 run, and they just completely, blow the doors off of Wyndham. They blow them, right out of the gym. It's like they put the show on just for me as soon as I showed up at the camera.
Certainly, absolutely.
It seemed like
prime time tribe. That's what they are. They put up 90 against Wyndham Tech, won their opener 90-61, and then they beat host Vinyl 65-53 to start 2-0 against Wyndham. Now, all 5 starters were in double figures, right?
And they passed the ball a lot. They were able to score in transition, especially with DJ. But when they brought the ball up, 3-4 guys are touching the ball before they're taking an outside shot or driving and dishing or driving to the middle. They were taking good shots. Everyone was touching the ball. It was team basketball.
Team basketball. Coach Randy Farkas, no doubt very, very happy with that. Wilcox Tech boys off to a 2-0 start. Watch out for the Indians this year. They have a very good team, and with the new tournament format, the CAAC Division IV, they could go places. We shall see. It's only December, but 2-0 so far for Wilcox Tech. Also this week, you got over to Sheehan as well.
Yes, for their opener, yeah.
On Tuesday night. They lost that game 66-58, but I understand Garrett Molampe really led a pretty good comeback in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, he scored 11 of his team-high 25 points in the last frame. Kind of really brought Sheehan back in the game. Sheehan struggled early to score, just flat out. I don't think they had a field goal for the first half of the first quarter. They missed a lot of shots, but, first game of the year.
It's a young team.
Yeah, a young team, and they picked it up late, and they showed how they could play when everything's clicking. So,
yeah, Joe Gaetano been coaching for a long time down at Sheehan. He's a good coach. I know he'll get those guys rolling sooner than later. Okay, those are our boys basketball highlights from this past week. We're going to take a break right now from This Week in High School Sports. Bring you a little word from our sponsor. Proud to have these guys as our teammate. Gaylord Specialty Care. Thank you from that message from our sponsor, Gaylord Specialty Care. Very, very happy to have them aboard as our partner for This Week in High School Sports. We move on to the second half of this pre-Christmas show. And, Pete, how's my hair look tonight, man?
Good. Much better with the hat.
Yeah. I had to really give my son a talking to. You're wearing his Santa Claus hat.
Oh, okay. I'll keep it very nice.
I told him you would keep it nice. And he's at home watching, so you better. Speaking at home and watching, I'm sure at Platt and Wilcox they're looking forward to the highlights you shot from their girls' basketball game on Tuesday night over on Oregon Road at Platt.
Yeah.
Not a long road trip for Wilcox Tech in their season opener.
Absolutely not. It was a good game right off the bat. Actually, Wilcox jumped out early, hit a couple of threes early. But Platt, was just too much at as the game wore on. Even for Wilcox, a handful of their girls who played in the game actually played in the JV game.
Oh, geez.
So, Platt just, overpowered them towards the end. They had the taller bodies and were able to get more rebounds and putbacks. And
it was Wilcox's opener. Platt was playing in its fourth game. Wilcox did go on to win its next two games. They smoked Goodwin and Cheney Tech. And Sam Petro, who is their leading scorer, she had 25 against Goodwin. Sam Petro, remember that name. You probably know it already.
Another former athlete of the week, Nicole Tiesi, plays for Wilcox.
Yeah?
Well. Yeah. So there it is, two athletes of the week, former winners right there.
Absolutely. They have a way of popping up on us. Okay. Now on Monday, Pete was a very, very busy man on Monday. You were out at Vinyl Tech, which you made it out there and back without getting too lost?
Well, my GPS didn't work for a little bit, but yes, I was able to get to Southington fine.
See, I tell Pete to develop his inner GPS.
I finally got to Sheehan today without using my GPS for the first time. I've been here for close to 2 years, 19 months now.
And it's all of 500 yards down.
Yeah, I know how to get to Maloney. Platt, on the other hand, not so much.
Those back roads through South Meriden can be a little tricky. So after going to the Vinyl Tech Wilcox game over in Middletown, Pete, you got over to Southington for the Glastonbury-Southington girls game. Yeah, Glastonbury won that game 39-29. We spoke to Coach Mike Forgione quite a bit in the preseason, and he knew it'd be tough out of the gate for Southington because they really just have Jeanette Wadolowski and a lot of young players.
Yep.
Jeanette scored 21 against Glastonbury. Southington only had 29. They're off to a 1-2 start. There's a team that's going to get better as the season goes on, and quite frankly, they have the girl who projects as the best player in the area.
Yeah, she early on, it seemed like she only had 2 points in the first quarter. It really seemed like she was trying to do a lot, and that's obvious. Like you said, they're a young team. They have the best player in the area, senior, and it looked like maybe she took a couple of shots that might go in, on another day. They just didn't fall early, and but once she got going, 21 out of 29 points, you really can't argue that.
No, that Jeanette Wadolowski, she'll be playing at Tufts University next year. For now, the Lady Knights were 1-2 heading into Thursday night's game at Farmington. Hopefully you checked out Monday's Record Journal to see how the Lady Knights did in that game. Okay, that's a lot of basketball. Pete, let's go over to your venue, man, the frozen tundra, the ice.
Back at Northford. It was nice.
Yes.
It was nice to be back.
We checked out Cheshire and Lyman Hall co-op on Tuesday.
It was a nice little crossover for us to start the season. A lot nicer for us in Cheshire than it was for Lyman Hall.
Yes.
In just 16 seconds, right after the puck drops, Cheshire gets on the board by a goal by Evan Vieva.
I'm going to say it's Evan Vieva.
Vieva. He scored 16 seconds in. Nice little touch and go with his teammate, and he was able to roof it to open up the game. And you blink of an eye, all of a sudden it's 3-0. With goals from and James Ilnicki scored the second one. And by the time Lyman Hall got anything going, they were down 3. Yep. Lyman Hall was able to scratch across the power play goal by Kyle Roberts in the middle of the first, but it was too hard to climb back from. After a scoreless second, Cheshire scored 2 more in the third. Another one from Ilnicki for a second one of the night, and Cheshire cruised through a victory.
Yep, 5-1.
I mean, in hockey to go down like that early.
That's a lot of digging.
Yeah, it's a lot of digging, and Lyman Hall's good. A lot of people picked them to win Division III.
Yeah, of course.
Cheshire,
they're playing a Division II team.
Exactly. So it's a great test. And, we saw this last year with Lyman Hall's team. Like, they're going to get better. Richie does a great job with that team, and they're going to be better as the year goes on. They're missing, Chris graduated, Hunter graduated, Finley graduated, and they're trying to replace top defenseman, top forward, and their goalie.
Yep.
So it's going to be a learning process for them, but, they're going to be fine.
They got some good players coming back, and Kyle Roberts, who scored, and also Scott Bradley. He's a good player as well. For Cheshire, Ilnicki, I love that name. That's like something out of a Beastie Boys song, man. The kids know who the Beastie Boys are?
I kind of do.
Yeah. That might be the cutoff point.
Might be.
As far as Evan goes, Evan, we're going to make your name a household word as the season goes on, and we will get your pronunciation right. Evan Vieva, 16 seconds
16 seconds in. They won the puck drop. They dropped it back, cycled it, came up the side, pass in front. All of a sudden, it's a goal. And Mark Roberts and I from Vantage Sports were like, wait, what just happened?
Yeah.
So they got going early.
Boom.
And they did not stop.
All right. Similar theme on Wednesday night for wrestling. Southington was hosting Farmington, and they rolled right past them. Farmington, very, very thin. The matches that were wrestled, Southington dominated those. They won 67-9. Jacob Cardozo, talk about a quick strike. He pinned his opponent in 18 seconds. Whistle, turn him over, boom. That's quick.
Wow.
Yes.
That's really quick.
Southington wrestling always a power in the state year in and year out. And this year promises to be no different. They won the Lancer tournament down in Waterford. Paul Kalo, New England champion a year ago. You remember we had him up for our all-wrestling team last year. He was the most outstanding wrestler down in Waterford. Shawnee Wagner, he's a veteran too. Look for him to have a good season. Southington, a 67-9 winner in their home opener just before Christmas. And last but not least, your last thing before signing off, Pete, you were in the pool today. You went from the ice to the steamy sauna of a pool, man.
It's just so hot in there, to be honest.
The Sheehan pool is quite warm. I know our photographer, Justin Weeks, shows up like a day in advance to get his camera warmed up. He tells me that he has to go a day in advance. No,
absolutely. You have to, or you're going to be in trouble. But, it's Cheshire. They came out. It was, again, it's competitive. It's the beginning of the year. A lot of teams are, no pun intended, they're just getting their feet wet.
Yeah.
And they're trying to feel out
that is a good
where
pun.
they stand. You like that?
I actually do. It might be a real cheesy one, but I like it. And I like the hat, too, Pete. You wear it well.
And, Cheshire's Cheshire.
Cheshire's Cheshire.
Obviously, if you're Sheehan, you look at this meet as a measuring stick. And they hung with them. 94, 81 is not a bad way to go.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. We will see what develops for the Sheehan Titans as well as the Cheshire boys this year in the pool, along with Lyman Hall's co-op team and the Meriden co-op team and Southington. Coming off a good girls swimming season, of course, with Cheshire winning Class L and Liz Boyer winning state championship. It was a great fall. We're looking forward to having a very good winter. For now, we are going to take a break. Mr. Pete and I, we're heading to Long Island for the holidays. We wish you happy holidays. Next week, for This Week in High School Sports, we're actually going to bring you the top 10 from football. It's a cool video you put together.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Well, you did a very good job with the voiceovers as well. So it should be a very fun video.
Yes. All righty. For For Pete Paguagua, myself, Brian Carpenter, Shawnee Crofsick, Ken Lipshes, and Mr. Justin Weeks, and of course Joey Boyle, Jumpin' Joe Boyle, back on the hockey beat. We wish you all Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy New Year, all that good stuff. We'll catch you on the flip side.